In the dead of night, a chilling whisper shivered through the wind. The wind, it seems, is not just a mere bearer of the seasons in the quaint little town of Morose Hollow. Here it carries with it a cold, eerie whisper. A whisper that is not merely a figment of one's imagination, but a chilling reality that has seeped into the very bones of this town and its inhabitants. Nestled in the heart of an endless forest, Morose Hollow is more than just a town. It's a living, breathing embodiment of tales spun around flickering campfires, of legends whispered in hushed tones. It's a place where the line between the living and the dead, the real and the unreal, is as thin as the veil of mist that blankets the town every night. Every gust of wind that sweeps through the deserted streets of Morose Hollow carries an echo from the past. A past that is haunted with stories of a mysterious presence that casts a long, sinister shadow over the town. The whispering wind is the town's grim lullaby, a constant reminder of the spectral presence that looms in the darkened corners of Morose Hollow. As the moon rides high in the starless sky, the whisper grows louder. It's an ominous symphony, a chilling serenade that resonates with the town's haunted past. The whispering wind is the voice of Morose Hollow, a voice that sings a tale of dread and horror that has been etched into the town's very soul. Every creaking door, every rustling leaf, every flickering shadow whispers the same chilling tale. A tale of a town forever trapped in a timeless horror. A tale of a haunting that refuses to be forgotten. Each whisper adds another layer to the enigma that is Morose Hollow. The wind whispering through the skeletal trees, the shadowy figures lurking in the corners, the chilling tales spun around the hearth, they all add to the dreadful symphony of Morose Hollow. And as the whisper grows louder, the residents of Morose Hollow knew the terror was about to begin. Underneath the gloomy moonlight, shadows began to dance. As the clock ticked away in the still of the night, a spectacle of dread unfurled in the quiet town. The darkness, usually a comforting blanket of solitude, became a stage for the eerie ballet of ghostly shadows. The once familiar corners and alleyways, bathed in the pale glow of the moon, morphed into a tableau of terror. Residents, peering out from behind closed curtains, witnessed the chilling sight. The ghastly shadows, unbound by the laws of nature, twisted and twirled in a macabre dance. Their fluid movements, a stark contrast to their rigid and insubstantial forms, were a harrowing sight to behold. Silhouettes of men, women, and even children, all engaged in a dance as old as time itself. A dance devoid of joy, a dance of despair. Uncertainty washed over the town, whispers of dread spread like wildfire, turning every corner, every shadow into a potential threat. The once tranquil town was now a hotbed of fear, a place where the night brought not rest, but terror. The jovial chatter of the townsfolk was replaced by hushed voices and anxious glances, a testament to the growing sense of impending doom. The dance continued, relentless and unforgiving. Every twirl, every movement seemed to draw out the fear from the hearts of the townsfolk, amplifying it, feeding off it. The shadows, reveling in the terror they induced, grew more pronounced, more tangible. It was as if the very essence of fear had taken form, casting a chilling pall over the town. And then, as the first light of dawn began to creep in, the shadows receded. The dance ended as abruptly as it had begun, leaving behind a town gripped by fear. As the sun rose, the residents were left to grapple with the harrowing spectacle they had witnessed. The dance of the shadows was not a one-time event, but a haunting prelude, a prelude to a nightmare that was yet to unfold, a nightmare that was just beginning. The dance of the shadows was just the beginning. The shadows whispered tales of an ancient curse. A curse so old, it was as if time itself had forgotten its genesis. Yet, the people of Morose Hollow remembered. They remembered the chilling horror that had been woven into the very fabric of their town, a chilling narrative that began centuries ago. In the heart of Morose Hollow there existed a legend, a tale of a powerful witch who had been wronged by the town's forefathers. Out of vengeance, she cast an unending curse on the town. A curse that would awaken every 100 years, bringing with it a wave of inexplicable horrors. The curse was a spectral shadow, an unseen force that brought despair and dread to the town's residents. It was a relentless tormentor, an invisible beast that fed on fear and chaos. Every 100 years, the town would plunge into an abyss of terror. Unseen forces would manipulate objects, strange apparitions would appear, and the nights would echo with the haunting cries of unseen entities. The curse was not just a ghostly presence, but a malevolent spirit that toyed with the minds of the townsfolk. It would play on their fears, manipulating their dreams into nightmares and their hopes into despair. The curse was an insidious spectre, twisting reality until the line between the real and the unreal blurred. The curse was indiscriminate, choosing its victims at random. It did not care for age, gender, or status. The rich and the poor, the young and the old, all were potential prey. The curse would weave its way into their lives, slowly sapping their courage, their hope, their sanity, until they were nothing but empty shells of their former selves. As the town's centennial approached, an air of dread hung heavily over Morose Hollow. The town's residents could only watch in helpless anticipation as the day of the curse's awakening drew near. They were trapped in their own homes, waiting for the unseen terror to strike again. And so, the curse had awakened, ready to claim its next victim. With every passing night, the terror grew, urging the town to find a solution. The sun would set and the moon would rise, casting an eerie glow on Morose Hollow. The townsfolk, once embracing the serenity of nightfall, now feared it. The curse had twisted their lives and they were desperate for salvation. The people of Morose Hollow, once just simple farmers and merchants, found themselves thrust into a world of the supernatural, of curses and fear. They rallied together, their unity fueled by desperation. They turned their homes into research hubs, poring over ancient texts and cryptic scrolls. They scoured the pages for any hint, any clue that could offer them a way out of this nightmare. They sought help from beyond the boundaries of their small town. Mediums and spiritualists were summoned, their services enlisted in the hopes of breaking the curse. Seances were held in the town hall, candles flickering as the mediums reached out to the other side. Incantations echoed through the night, a symphony of hope and desperation. But the spirits remained silent, their silence echoing louder than any words. They tried rituals, following the instructions etched in the ancient texts to the letter. They danced under the moonlight, offerings were made, and chants echoed across the town. Each ritual brought with it a glimmer of hope, but each ended in disappointment. The curse remained unbroken, its grip on the town tightening. The desperation was palpable, filling the air with a sense of dread. The townsfolk were fighting a battle against an unseen enemy, their weapons nothing more than hope and determination. But with every failed attempt, their hope dwindled, their determination wavered. Fear was winning. The once vibrant town was now a place of shadows and whispers, the laughter and joy replaced by silence and trepidation. The curse had turned their lives into a nightmare, a never-ending cycle of fear and desperation. Hope was fading as the curse continued to cast its shadow over Morose Hollow. Each passing day was a grim reminder of their plight, each night a testament to their failures. But they were not ready to give up, not yet. As the sun rose, so did a glimmer of hope. It was a dawn unlike any other, a dawn that carried with it not just the promise of a new day, but the promise of salvation. And it all began with a prophecy, an age-old verse that had been forgotten over the centuries, lost in the annals of time. The prophecy, as old as the town itself, was unearthed from the depths of the town archives, a dusty old parchment bearing the words that could possibly break the curse. It was written in a language so archaic that it could barely be deciphered. But the townsfolk, driven by desperation and the will to survive, managed to decode the cryptic verses. It spoke of a secret that had been buried within the town, a secret that held the power to obliterate the curse. The prophecy didn't reveal much, but it did point towards the existence of a hidden entity, a beacon of light that could dispel the darkness. The residents, their spirits rekindled by this newfound hope, began their search. The town buzzed with activity as every nook and cranny was searched, every stone turned, every secret pathway explored. The break of dawn began to feel like a metaphor for their situation. Just like the dawn breaks the darkness of the night, they hoped that the secret, once found, would break the curse that had been haunting them. It was a race against time, for as the sun climbed higher in the sky, they knew that the haunting shadows would return with the fall of night. But the prophecy was their beacon, their guiding light, and they were determined to follow it till the very end. The day was filled with anticipation and anxiety, a strange mix of hope and fear, but underneath it all was a determination, a resolve to fight, to survive. The prophecy had given them hope, but would it be enough to save them from the haunting shadows? As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the town, only time would tell. The break of dawn had come and gone, and now they waited for what the dusk would bring. In the heart of Morose Hollow, the secret was finally unveiled. The veil of mystery was lifted as the cryptic secret buried deep within the hollow's core was brought to light. The truth was as chilling as it was liberating. The curse, a chain of sorrow and despair, was born out of an old, forgotten tale of betrayal and loss. But now the key to breaking the curse had been found, hidden in plain sight, nestled within the tale itself. The discovery sent a ripple through the hollow. The shadows, once ominous and threatening, began to wane. They retreated, shrinking back into the corners from whence they came, their icy grip on the town's soul loosening. The whispering wind, once a harbinger of dread, transformed into a gentle breeze, carrying with it the promise of tranquility. The curse was broken. The spectral figures that once roamed the streets, their mournful cries echoing in the night, vanished. The once oppressive air lightened as if a heavy weight had been lifted. The dark, foreboding clouds that seemed a permanent fixture above Morose Hollow began to part, revealing the star-studded sky that had been hidden for so long. The people of Morose Hollow, trapped in a constant state of fear and unease, felt the change. Their hearts, heavy with the burden of the haunting, began to lighten. Their faces, once etched with worry and dread, started to soften. The chains of the haunting curse that had bound them were broken. They were free at last. The town was quiet, the once constant whispers and cries replaced by a peaceful silence. The homes, once cold and unwelcoming, now glowed warmly in the moonlight. The streets, once feared and avoided, now invited the townsfolk for midnight strolls under the stars. And so Morose Hollow was consumed by an unfamiliar sound, the sound of silence. The haunting was over at last.